Hey guys, I'm Quentin from Pure Earth Coffee Co. We are putting in a new brewer here at City Church, and this is a twin tower brewer from Curtis. So we're gonna walk through unboxing, what it looks like to install and dial in the machine. So this is the Curtis D1000GT, and this is our standard twin brewer that we typically prescribe for high volume cafes or churches or businesses that need a lot of batch brew coffee.
The next step of this install is we're going to be working from the machine to our inlet water source. So we're going to adapt to John Guest. Slide this guy around so you guys can see. So from the factory, it comes with this 90-degree elbow. I believe this is a 3/8 flare. So we'll start with this. This is just a John Guest 3/8 flare brass to 1/4 inch. So we'll start with a little bit of tape. Try not to twist it too bad. This is the thick stuff, so only a couple wraps works. Usually I wouldn't use tape on a flare fitting, but the last one that I did, this one, had a slight leak, even though I cranked it down pretty good, so better safe than sorry with a little bit of Teflon. So we'll get it hand tight right there, and just kind of snug it up with our adjustable wrench. That's good and tight. So the next step we're going to work on is teeing off of our existing water line. So like I mentioned, it is John Guest 1/4 inch. So we'll just use this guy right back here. So you always want to make sure that the cut is nice and clean, no burrs. In this case it is, so we'll push that tee on nice and snug, give it a little tug, make sure it's in there good, and I'll kind of push that through. So then the next thing we're going to do is from the tee we're going to run to these on-off valves, just an inline valve that you can turn on and off. That way, if in the future you ever need to service an individual machine, it just makes it a little bit easier. So next we're just hooking up to the filter that we had previously installed. Again, John Guest, super simple. Just push it till you hear a click, give it a little bit more, and give it a tug just to check. And then always make sure that there's a slight gap in between the fitting so that it's making a good connection. We'll mount that later, but for now it'll just sit just like that. So, water is still off. We'll go finish hooking up the other two machines. So like I mentioned, we're just going to be working now from the tee to the machine, installing this inline on-off switch or valve. So I kind of cut some of this line and make sure it's, so here's a good example of, it had a slight burr, I just kind of moved it around with my finger. So we'll just recut this a little bit. That's better. You want that as clean as you can get it. And then you just push it on, give it a little tug, make sure it's snug, and you're good. I'm gonna start with this off. And then this line is probably just long enough to make it. Yeah. So I don't want it to be too snug, so I'll just go ahead and cut a couple extra inches off of that just to make sure I've got enough wiggle room. This stuff kind of has a memory, so you can kind of bend it around, get it straighter if you need to. Install that there. This one there. Okay, and that one is ready to go. Push this one back into place. And we'll start on the next one. And we already got that one hooked up, so I may just steal my last line. And last but not least, we're just gonna get final touches on right here. Just get a quick and with this stuff, I'd rather have a little bit more than a little bit less. So I'll just kind of figure out roughly where I'm gonna be. About there looks good. And then if they decide later that they want the two machines right next to each other, we can always shorten this and just put them close together. It should be pretty good. I'll go ahead and plug this machine in, kind of scoot it a little bit closer. Down here in the lower left is the master on-off switch, so you want to flip that up right after you install. So that's pretty much it. We'll go ahead and turn the water on, turn the machine on, and we'll make sure it's working.